run the blog Faith in Home. Today I have a guest, Katie. Katie, do you want to introduce what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I run a YouTube channel called Now That I'm a Mother, and it's just centered around encouraging moms to embrace that joy of motherhood. And then my husband and I run a website or a blog, another YouTube channel, and a podcast called Now That We're a Family. And basically, it's just where we want to encourage families. We're really new to parenthood and marriage ourselves. I have our third on the way right now, and we have two and under. And yeah, that's just where we share kind of our journey and what we're learning as we go along the way.
Yeah, you guys are super busy. You have so many side projects. You got the hustle going on, definitely. And you guys are working on a child CD.
Yes, my
awesome.
husband's children's album is coming out in a few weeks. And so we've been working a lot on that. Super excited.
I'm excited to see all your projects and where they end up going. But anyways, can you tell us a little bit about your background? I know that Adam and I just got done going to your parents' newlywed marriage retreat, which was super awesome. They have 11 kids and they seriously look so in love. Like you wouldn't know that they have been married for 25 plus years.
Yes, Elisha and I were blessed with really good examples of parents. And I'm the oldest of 11. I feel like people either have a really good experience being in a big family or a very negative one. It's kind of magnified either way just because of how many people are in the family. But I loved it. And my parents did a lot of things unconventionally, as I'm sure you heard about at the retreat. But I just think it gave me a lot of creativity and like out of the box thinking for life in general.
Yeah, that's awesome. Something that I've admired about you and whenever I've gone over to your house is that you do a really great job at keeping your home and making it so just cozy and welcoming when people come in. And I know from watching your YouTube channel that a lot of that is budget friendly and that you do a lot of thrifting and a lot of redoing products. Upcycling, I guess is the term that's in right now. So can you tell us a little bit about how you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So when my husband and I got married, we had like no money at all. But it was really fun to just think of out of the box ways to, like you said, upcycle. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to be a DIYer necessarily. I'm not Pinteresty at all. But just with, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. You don't have to necessarily like take all your time to shop garage sales anymore or thrift stores. You can find so many great deals online in a really quick, easy way. So I love that.
That's awesome. Yeah. I feel like the internet makes it so much easier to find those kind of deals. And I know that for Adam and I, it's super important that our home is a place that we want to be and that we don't feel the need to escape it and like go on vacations all the time or like leave our home to feel relaxed. Yeah. How important is that to you guys?
Yeah, it's super important for us. Like, I think it's so important because not only do you want to have people over to your home and you want to be hospitable, but I find with kids, it becomes a bigger and bigger deal to leave the house and to go to a coffee shop or to leave the house. And so it's nice when you can just have that place of rest and have that place of hosting be your own home.
Mm-hmm. Where do you feel like are the most important areas to kind of start your focus on when you're upcycling and redoing your home to make it a place you want to be?
Yeah, so when you're on a budget, you have to be really thoughtful.
Yeah.
And for me, it was our living room because that's where you're hosting. That's where you're having people over. And so I wanted that to be a relaxing place. And then our bedroom. I think that's so important too. Sometimes they go into people's master bedrooms and there's just so much stuff or it's dirty or it's like the catch-all. And I don't think that's how it should be because you want that to be a place of rest for you and your spouse.
So in those rooms, are there certain items in particular that really just made the biggest of difference once you got around to doing them?
Well, okay, so painting for me was big because we moved into an apartment. And when people come over to our apartment, I don't know, I'm having such a hard time saying apartment, you guys. But when people come over to our apartment, they're like, you guys were allowed to paint? And I'm like, I just painted. I don't know. Our landlord came over and collected the rent and he's like, wow, it looks good. So I probably wouldn't suggest that. But that said, it's a really cheap, easy way to just dramatically just transform the feel of your home, especially if it's a color that for me, it kind of made me like nauseous. It was like this ugly yellow. But I think other than that, like couches, are big, but at the same time, okay, I'm kind of talking around here, but I think the first thing and the biggest thing to do is to actually remove stuff, honestly. Like that can make the biggest difference in a home,
Yeah.
is starting by taking stuff
Decluttering.
away. Yes. Instead of adding stuff. And you could do that for free. You could take stuff out of your house for free.
You can make money.
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome.
And actually, I did earn a lot of income from, not a lot, but enough to upcycle our house by selling old items.
That's awesome.
And that's how I started.
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like you don't realize like how much money you can get out of the stuff that you think is trash. But like another person's trash is like someone else's treasure. So a couple months ago on your YouTube channel, I saw that you did a reupholstery in a chair video without sewing, which I think is one of your most popular videos too.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
So I'm kind of getting the vibe that for a lot of people, they probably want to redo their home, but they're probably afraid that it's going to take and require skills that they don't have. So how easy is it to do these kind of things without like having these skills like sewing and whatever?
Well, okay, different personalities are going to do this different ways. My dad is really perfectionistic. And so I grew up with, I didn't want to work on certain projects for him specifically because he wasn't going to, it wasn't going to be restful if he saw something that wasn't done perfectly. And so I think you have to work with your spouse on this and your own personality. Certain personalities just aren't going to enjoy this. But that said, I kind of do everything in life by the 80-20 principle. And that is, you want to put in 20% of the effort and get 80% of the gain. And so I just try to slowly upgrade things. So maybe this couch, you know, or this chair that I had, it was super stained, super ugly. You could not go wrong trying to reupholster this thing, okay? And yeah, I learned a lot of stuff on it because I just went for it. I was like, I just want to make it 80% better. And it is. And I learned a lot of stuff along the way, and it's not perfect. And when I go back and do it a second time, you know, or maybe we'll have the money to replace the chair, I want to make it that much better. But I think just having that mindset of get in there, try to take it up a notch, and you can always do better later.
Yeah, you can always try again.
Yeah, exactly. But you aren't going to learn unless you start trying. But, you know, try on an old junky chair. Don't try on like your prized possession.
But it did look a lot better once you finished it. So even though you may have not like made it 100% what you wanted, like looked really good. Another thing that I've noticed and admired about you is how motivated you are. I mean, like you said, you have 2 kids under 2 and then you're pregnant and you're constantly doing stuff. You're constantly doing whole day house cleans and a ton of renovations. How do you get the energy or find motivation if you aren't feeling the energy?
That's a great question. So yeah, sometimes you just aren't feeling it. But one thing that I think is super important is to always take action when you do feel motivated. So for instance, cleaning videos, they're really popular on YouTube. And I know a lot of people will just watch through a cleaning video and you feel that motivation. And then you've like got to run out the door and like go grocery shopping or go to a friend's house or something. It's the same thing with reading a personal development book. I read a lot of books, but you'll get these great concepts in the book and then just be like, okay, now I set the book down and I go about my life, right? So a goal that I set for myself is to never do like watch or read anything that's inspirational without taking at least one action afterwards. So for instance, I like to watch organizational videos on YouTube. I watched a video of a gal doing her pantry organization, and I was just like raring to go, but it was 11 at night. We had no money to buy stuff to do the pantry organization. And I was just gonna, you know, move on. And then I was like, no, you know what? I've got to take one action. So I just went downstairs and I cleaned out my pantry. I was like, well, I could start there. I can't organize it, but I can clean it. And throughout that process, I realized that I had tons of jars, like canning jars and glass gallon jars. And I just started organizing that way. Awesome. And my pantry looks incredible. A lot of people go and buy all that stuff to redo their pantry, but it all just came from taking a little bit of action. So motivation spawns that action. Make sure it always spawns action, because then that action continues to multiply and you get momentum. You know, like you'll start to, you watch a cleaning video, you pick up a few things, and then it's like, oh, I'm going to attack the refrigerator or do something bigger.
Yeah. So I think you made a really good point there is some people are probably going to watch this and be like, well, I don't have any budget. to
Yeah.
redo my home. But you said that you didn't have like any money. It was too late. You didn't have money, but you still made yourself make improvements to your home. So like,
Yes.
can you kind of talk about your mindset for that? Like why it's important to still try to work on your home, even if you can't have it exactly how you want it?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I think the perfectionist mindset can really kill you in this. We've just got to take action. And when people think home improvement, like we've kind of already touched on, they
Yeah.
think of bringing stuff in.
Mhm.
And that's not what it is. Having a clean home is an improved home. Having a decluttered home, and the Marie Kondo, or
Yeah.
Con Marie, I always say her name wrong, but she is great with just like folding your clothes a certain way, right?
Mhm.
Or getting rid of stuff that doesn't bring you joy. All those things can improve your home without ever spending $1. And if you go out and buy a $5, thing of chalk paint, you could take away all the glitches in a
Yeah.
certain item in your home too. So it can be, you literally don't have to have a budget to improve your home. There's also so many free things, you guys, like there's just always ways. Go out and pick some flowers, put them in your home. That's a home improvement.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's an important mindset to have. I know Adam and I recently had a like argument about our rug
Yeah.
right here, and there was like a dog had chewed a corner of our rug. And so Adam was like, "We need a new one. It needs to be perfect."
Yeah.
And we finally came to the conclusion that we could just flip it. No one would know. So like sometimes home improvements are as simple as that. Like
Totally.
now the chewed up side is under the couch. No one's going to see it. We didn't have to spend money and the rug looks perfectly fine.
Totally. I love that. And that's just like a great example, again, of sometimes when you don't want to spend that money, you end up being more creative.
Yeah.
And that can be really fun in and of itself.
Yeah. And it kind of gets rid of that like consumerist mindset where you like, if you want something, just go out and buy it. Like try to make it happen with what you already have, which is really awesome. So kind of back to the motivation thing that I was talking to you about. Sometimes I can feel overwhelmed on a day-to-day basis with everything I have going on, maintaining my home and just like social life and church events and everything. So how do you like manage all that with 2 kids?
Oh, you know what? It's a hobby. It really is. Like for me personally, I feel so accomplished. I feel so much better about myself when I'm doing things to actively improve whatever area it is in life. And the kids just come along for the ride. I'm a really big fan of just including them in everything you do, and it doesn't have to be a big deal. Life doesn't stop when you become a parent. It's really just starting, and you get to experience life a whole new way. And it might be a little slower, but sometimes it's not. It's not even slower. Again, it just takes a little more creativity to include the kids. But another thing that I just remind myself often is if I'm not creating, I'm probably consuming. And so I want to stay away from that consumeristic mindset. It's so easy to be a mom and be at home on your phone or consuming social media or, consuming Netflix or whatever it is. And I want to be in a creation mindset. I just feel like, God, our creator, created us. He's the ultimate creator. And I feel so fulfilled when I'm living out that role of a creator in
That's
some way or
awesome. Yeah.
another.
It's so easy. Like if you just plan on watching one video, it's so easy to get like
Oh,
stuck and
yeah.
like you're just constantly consuming and one video turns into like 20. And
Yes, it's so
easy.
easy. And it's a small bit harder to take a step in that direction of creating versus consuming. But in the end, you just feel so much better.
Yeah, it's a better outcome.
Yeah.
So it's totally worth it. That's
Totally.
awesome. So can you give, since you mentioned like you just bring the kids along with what you're doing, can you give some examples of what that looks like to include them?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So let's see here. I mean, I obviously take them grocery shopping. It's really easy to include them with household chores and stuff like that. If I create a video, I love to have them in it and engage them while we're creating that video. If we go over to people's houses or socialize, obviously they come too. There's really not that much that you can't do with kids, I feel like.
How do you get them excited to help like with cleaning or organizing?
Well, a lot of praise. At that age, everything's a game. At 2 years old, Leon just wants to be a part, and he doesn't know that emptying the silverware from the dishwasher to the drawer when mama's cleaning up isn't fun, right? He doesn't even know it's work. He's just like, oh, you're letting me be a part? That's awesome. And they feel good about themselves. They feel like they're contributing to the family. And I mean, I go and I change a load of laundry and Leon comes running over and just goes, help, help, help. And he holds out his hands and he loves to, you know, I give it to him and then he throws it in the laundry.
Yeah.
And it's just, to him, it's a game. And so
That's
just
awesome. So basically what I'm hearing you say is like, as long as your attitude is like making it a game, it's fun for them.
yes.
If you don't show it's a chore,
exactly.
they aren't going to think of it that way.
Yeah. Kids pick up on your attitude big time.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how much of an impact do you feel like it makes on your family just as a whole attitude towards each other when your home is well kept? Like, do you feel that there's more respect and like more patience with each other?
Yeah, I think there is that aspect because, again, there's less fighting for your attention. There's less wearing on your nerves. There's less you're aware of. And you aren't focused on, oh, that's a problem. And you're able to just relax. And whenever you're in a relaxed state, then naturally you have more grace for each other. You know, you're happier. And I do think all those cliches about being happy as a mom or happy as a wife are true, and that your attitude really affects your whole home. And so if you're in a place where you're comfortable and you're relaxed, I think that can have a huge impact on the family. And that means letting go sometimes of things too that aren't perfect or that aren't exactly how you want them. I know a lot of women who have beautiful houses, but they're so stressed out about everything being perfect that they aren't able to relax. And it's still not a relaxing environment for the home. So I think that ultimately our attitudes as women in our home are probably the biggest difference maker when it comes to everyone else feeling like they can relax.
I know Adam's so peculiar about everything. So like if one thing's out of order, he also has ADD. So it's like a mind thing. It's like you just super like focus in on one thing. So if one thing's out of place, it's like the biggest deal ever. Yeah. So for us, like if everything's in its place and in order, his mind's clear and he like is good. But if one thing's out of order, it's just all he can focus on.
Yeah. And that's so cool that you know that about your husband. And I think that is so important too when creating this space is you aren't just creating it for you, you're creating it for both of you guys. And so stuff that doesn't bother me, again, might bother my husband. And I love that you have that perspective of, you know, what should I be focusing on to make this a place of rest for him?
So my blog's idea for Faith in Home is kind of all about encouraging women in their roles and being a keeper of their home. So what does being faithful in your role look like to you?
That's great. I love your blog so much, by the way. And to me, that's ultimately running everything I do by the Bible. And I think sometimes we forget to do that. It's like, okay, what should I do? And we try to come up with our priorities instead of looking, what does a Proverbs 31 woman do? You know, she's been around forever. We talk about her, we hear in church, but that is so important, I think, to ultimately just come back to supporting Elisha from the home, taking care of our kids. And that's going to look different for different marriages too. For my husband, I don't like to cook at all, but that means a lot to him when I have meals at home, you know, and people are like, oh, that's so like 1950s housewife or whatever. But I think if you're creating joy in your marriage and you're creating joy for your spouse, that totally reciprocates, you know, and it comes back to you too. So I think it's just really important to prioritize things. My dad always calls this his giant five. I don't know if you mentioned it at the newlywed retreat, but just that order of prioritizing God, then my marriage, then my kids, my health, and then my God-given abilities and how I am acting those out. So my hobbies or bringing in extra money for the family or whatever. But if I can keep those things in balance, then I find that my home stays in balance as well too.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know for Adam and I, when we first got married, we were totally doing things our own way. And we kind of just had a lot of blowups and we were like, something needs to change. This is not going to work. We didn't really have the best examples in what marriage should look like. And so we were like, okay, let's look to the Bible. Like we are Christians, but we like haven't taken this step.
Yeah.
And so we got into a great community that kind of helped lead us through that. And it's made the world of the difference, just actually following what the Bible says. And it's like so much easier. Like we do each have our own natural giftings.
Yes.
And those can be applied to our roles. And it's been such a blessing for our marriage.
That is so cool. Yeah, I love that. The Bible is so applicable to every single marriage, to every single gifting. And we are able to live out our giftings just within those boundaries of the Bible. There's so much peace in that, for sure.
And it's awesome because you can learn it. Like, you don't have to grow up knowing it.
No, you don't.
Which is
and
important.
I love that you drew that out, is that we all have the Bible. And regardless of what backgrounds we come from, we all have that in common as believers. And that's all we need. All we need is God. We aren't reliant on parents or the right upbringing. We have the ultimate Heavenly Father.
Katie, thank you so much for coming on today. It's been my pleasure, and I'm sure people are going to get a ton of awesome tips from this. So I'm really excited about it. Can you tell everyone again where they can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. I love what you're doing with Faith and Home. I love just the concept behind it, and I just think it's going to encourage so many women. So thank you for that. And then you can find me at Now That I'm a Mother on YouTube, and nowthatwe'reafamily.com is where you can find our podcasts or blogs and stuff of that nature, more towards encouraging family as a whole.
Awesome. Make sure you guys go subscribe. I'm going to have a ton of interviews with women that I look up to and aspire to be like. So definitely useful information coming.